Hey there, my name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life. 6 years ago, Carolyn and I made a video about the closure of a popular theme park in Nashville, Tennessee called Opryland U.S.A. That Opryland video was the first on our channel to earn more than a few hundred views, and it helped us earn a lot of subscribers who continue to watch our videos and join us for our occasional live streams. That video is certainly dated and kind of cringy, but let me just tell you, that old cringy video generated more interest in the subject than I ever imagined. Seriously. Now, I'm not taking credit or anything. Okay, maybe a little, but a year after we uploaded that video, other content creators started making videos about Opryland's closure. Coincidence? I think not. These other Opryland videos are amazing. The production value is fantastic, but many of these content creators use the same copy and pasted information you'll find all over the web that provide the official narrative to explain Opryland's closure. And they've missed the point entirely. In our first Opryland video, I made it clear that despite the official narrative, there was no reason to close Opryland. It was a bad decision, a mistake, a fugazi, and that's not just my opinion. As I'll explain in this video, it's true that Opryland faced challenges, but the park was wildly popular. It wasn't failing, and it remained profitable until the day it closed. By the end of this video, you'll know the truth about Opryland's closure, the truth you won't find on any other YouTube channel. Okay, you might, I honestly haven't looked. I'm also going to spend a little more time talking about Opry Mills and the Opryland Hotel. As always, I've provided links in the description. This video is dedicated to all our subscribers, especially the ones who have been requesting an Opryland follow-up for several years. Now, this is a longer video than you're probably used to, so go ahead and hit the like button. Sit back and relax, and let's get started. Now, if you've never heard of Opryland, or if you haven't watched my first Opryland video, let me catch you up to speed with a quick summary. And if you have watched my other Opryland video, first, thank you for watching that video, and I think you'll appreciate this review. Opryland U.S.A. was a theme park located in Nashville, Tennessee. It opened in May of 1972 on a 120-acre site adjacent to the Opryland Hotel, which opened the same year. A couple of years later, the Grand Ole Opry, home of the longest-running radio broadcast in U.S. history, moved from the Ryman Auditorium in downtown Nashville beside both the Opryland Theme Park and the Opryland Hotel. The proximity of these three attractions made it convenient for visitors to experience the theme park, the live performances at the Grand Ole Opry, and enjoy an amazing stay at the Opryland Hotel. Opryland operated from 1972 to 1997, and it was known for its unique combination of amusement park rides, live entertainment, and its themed areas. Make no mistake, Opryland USA was wildly popular. The park featured a variety of attractions, including roller coasters, water rides, live shows, and concerts. Some of its most notable rides included the Screamin' Delta Demon, Grizzly River Rampage, and the Wabash Cannonball. Opryland's themed areas offered their own unique atmosphere and attractions, but the live entertainment at Opryland was out of this world. When it came to live performances, Opryland gave Disney a run for its money. Opryland featured numerous stages and theaters where visitors could enjoy a wide range of performances throughout the day. For 30 amazing years, Opryland kept growing and continued adding new rides and attractions every year. Located just off three major interstates, Opryland was Nashville's most popular tourist spot every year it was open except for one. About 2 million people visited the park annually, and it provided 2,500 jobs for Nashville's local economy. Opryland USA opened just 8 months after Disney World, and despite its popularity, in 1997, Opryland's owners, Gaylord Entertainment, made the decision to close Opryland and in its place, a mall. Now listen, in that last video, I never said that Opry Mills was a bad mall or that no one shopped here. It's just that in our economy now, well, everybody orders things online. And so people go to the mall when they have to. But if you're going to the mall, Opry Mills is a phenomenal mall to visit. Like, if you're just passing through Nashville, I would stop by Opry Mills. It's pretty impressive. Amazing stores, merry-go-rounds. Don't ask me why I'm on this thing. Just don't. I'm gonna be sick, and she keeps spinning the wheel. Now, I got this part wrong in the first Opryland video, so let me explain. Gaylord Entertainment, who owned Opryland, made an agreement with the Mills Corporation to build Opry Mills, a megamall. Gaylord Entertainment would receive $200 million from the Mills Corporation and a 33% share in Opry Mills. Now, I may have gotten that a little mixed up in the other video, but it doesn't change the fact that Gaylord Entertainment replaced a well-branded, nationally recognized theme park for a mall. Now, don't get me wrong, Opryland wasn't Disney World, but before the park closed in the early 1990s, business experts recognized that malls were in decline. Several friendly people who were kind enough to leave a comment defended the crowds at Opry Mills during our visit back in 2017 when making the other Opryland video, stating that we must have been there during an off night. So it's Friday night and this back parking lot here at Opry Mills is completely empty. And I'm not throwing shade on the people here at Opry Mills. Again, it's a fantastic mall, one of the country's best. Opryland used to be like right here, right where I'm standing and that way. Okay, in full disclosure, other parking lot areas around Opry Mills were full, and earlier that day, there was a decent crowd. If you love shopping, Opry Mills offers an amazing experience. And no, I'm not sponsored. There are amazing dining experiences as well. During our visit, we were shopping for new luggage. Opry Mills has a Toomey and Samsonite dealer, and if you've ever shopped for decent luggage, that's a big deal. Opry Mills offers a not-so-subtle Nashville country or country western theme, and it's a lot of fun because they really lean into it. And I'm not just being nice when I say that if you're in Nashville, maybe you're at a convention at the Opryland Hotel, then you should spend some time at Opry Mills. But if you're from a city the same size as Nashville or bigger, then you probably have a mall or even a couple of malls that are a lot like Opry Mills. Maybe it has a cool theme, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it has 2 luggage stores, maybe it has 3. The point I was making in my last Opryland video is that malls aren't as exciting as they were back in the 1980s or 90s. Even my parents do a lot of their shopping online. And remember that luggage we bought? The only reason we didn't buy our luggage online is because I was concerned the luggage wouldn't arrive before my next trip. People traveled across the country to visit Opryland. Generally, people don't travel across the country for a mall. In fact, let us know in the comments if you've ever planned your vacation around a visit to the mall. Anyway, I said this in the last video, and in this video I have proof. There had to be another reason for closing Opryland than what the Gaylord executives provided back in 1997. Honestly, when I made that video back in 2017, I never considered the passion people still had or have for Opryland. I wasn't thinking about clickbait either. I was interested in making interesting content for YouTube. But I did want to get to the bottom of why the park closed. I mean, I was curious. But here's the truth. In my opinion, the best thing about that 6-year-old cringy Opryland video is the comment section. As the kids say, it was fire. Most of these comments are people expressing how much they loved Opryland and their frustration over the park's closure that lingers to this very day. The most intriguing comments were left by people who provide reasons why the park closed. Many of these people claim to have either worked for Opryland or they were connected to people who knew or know the inside scoop. And there were people who pointed out some things that I got wrong. For example, I said that Nashville is only about 2 hours from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. I live in Tennessee and I don't know what I was thinking. Even Google Maps will tell you that it takes 3 hours and 22 minutes to get from Nashville to Pigeon Forge. And if you add Knoxville and Sevierville traffic and throw in a rest area or 2, yeah, I was just wrong. It's about 4 hours. In 1996, the year before Opryland closed, it was Nashville's #1 tourist attraction. But this is bigger than just numbers. Opryland is credited as being the catalyst that launched Nashville's growth as a big city. Back when the park opened, a city having a theme park was unique. So when Opryland's owners, Gaylord Entertainment, decided to close Opryland, they needed to explain themselves to the city. After all, closing the park would cost the city 2,500 jobs and crush Nashville's tourist industry, and it did for the next 20 years. Gaylord Entertainment wasn't leaving Nashville altogether. altogether. The Opryland Hotel, also owned by Gaylord, is a juggernaut in the hotel and convention business. Gaylord Entertainment knew that closing Opryland was going to hurt Nashville's tourist industry. They had to convince the public that closing Opryland and making a deal with the Mills Corporation to build a mall was their only choice. They had to make it look like their plans were winning plans for Nashville and the best option. First, Gaylord Entertainment stated that Opryland's attendance was down in 1997, but that was misleading. Park attendance was down in 1997, but only when compared to 1996. In 1996, Opryland broke records in the park as they celebrated Opryland's 25th anniversary. So in 1996, there was a sizable uptick in park attendance. Naturally, in 1997, park attendance was down from the year before. But it's rumored that park attendance may have been intentionally sabotaged in 1997, but that's speculation and too much for this video. Gaylord Entertainment also stated that the theme park had to expand every 5 years and there was simply no more room for expansion. Now, many people in the comment section of our last Opryland video mentioned this as well, but it simply isn't true. Opryland had options for expansion. Now, it's too much to get into, but let me know in the comments if you want me to make a separate video about Opryland's options to grow back in 1996. I would love to make that video if I know that there's some people who are actually interested in that. Gaylord Entertainment also told the public that Opryland didn't make money during the winter months. As we say here in the South, that's just downright lazy. Other theme parks 500 miles farther north have found ways to extend their season. So here's the thing, Gaylord didn't provide any evidence to substantiate their claims to the public. I know what you're thinking, Bill, they had to have done their due diligence. This is a major corporation. Surely they did their homework. They were doing what was best for their company, right? Well, it turns out there was no research. Like I said in the last Opryland video and in this video too, malls were already in decline. Now keep this in mind as it's going to matter later in the video. It was 1997, the middle of what's called the dot-com bubble or the internet bubble. Not only did Gaylord executives at the time know that e-commerce had the potential to cut into the profitability of the retail business, which by the way is the kind of business done at malls, but Gaylord Entertainment was about to change their entire business strategy to invest into the internet. When Opryland closed, the whole city went into shock. There's a reoccurring theme in the comments section of my old Opryland video. The public felt misled during the entire process, and they were misled. Gaylord made the decision to close the park at the end of summer in 1997, but the decision was leaked. Now, I can't prove it, but I suspect it was leaked by the people in the know at Gaylord who knew it was a bad decision. It certainly wasn't leaked intentionally because it was a PR nightmare. Under pressure from Nashville's press, Gaylord's vice president, Alan Hall, lied. When asked, "Is it true? Are you closing Opryland?" Hall responded, "That's a ridiculous idea. We're not going to level the park." During the fall season, Gaylord continued to deny rumors, but at the end of December, when the season ended, Opryland closed. But even then, the public continued to be misled. When Gaylord made the announcement about closing Opryland and building a mall, they declared with great certainty that there would be theme park elements in the mall. They even compared Opry Mills to the Mall of America in Minnesota. Opry Mills is a really nice mall, seriously, but it's nothing like the Mall of America in Minnesota.
Imagine taking your mind on a roller coaster through time. The experience so overwhelming that if you didn't see it, you'd hear it. If you didn't hear it, you'd feel it. If you didn't feel it, you didn't ride it. And if you did, it wasn't your imagination. The only ride of its kind in the world, only at Opryland 89. Imagine.
In 2004, new Gaylord executives admitted that the decision to close Opryland was made without due diligence. According to the new Gaylord executives, there was no research, analysis, or business plan in closing Opryland. Years later, Gaylord spokesman Greg Rossiter said, "The current management team has found no compelling reason why the decision to close the park was taken in the first place." Let me just say that I'm impressed with Gaylord admitting their mistake. That's really cool. So, good job. Opryland wasn't in decline. Despite YouTube videos and websites that say otherwise, Opryland was profitable until the day it closed. And that's a fact. Don't believe me? Well, check this out. In 2018, Bud Wendell, Gaylord Entertainment's former CEO, said, "Opryland's closure was the dumbest thing I've ever seen." And he pointed out Opryland was successful, and it was successful when they shut it down. And I just want to point out that Bud made that statement after I uploaded my first Opryland video, so I think Bud watched that video. Good for you, Bud. Good for you. I also bet he clicked the like and subscribe button just like you should right now.
Hi, Bill. As someone who worked seasonally with the park beginning in 1976 and then professionally on staff beginning in 1982, I think that Opryland lost its advocate with the retirement of E.W. Bud Wendell. Mr. Wendell built the company into a Nashville powerhouse with music industry connections like Acuff Rose, one of the largest music publishers at the time, and with the intentional build-out of the Nashville network providing country lifestyle branding directly into the home. The Opryland complex in Nashville had a synergy between the park, the Opryland Hotel, and the Grand Ole Opry that just worked. While the park was open, the hotel, even then the largest convention hotel in North America, had the highest occupancy rate in the industry. They were able to draw conventions by providing a destination for families in season, the Opryland Park. Bud Wendell retired in early 97. Immediately, the heir apparent, Terry London, the financial hired gun of the Gaylord family, sold TNN, moved to close the park, and made other stupid decisions that current management has found no solid reason for making. Basically, the whole operation in 1997 was a cluster that with better management would possibly have led to a better outcome.
The truth about Opryland's closure begins in the comment section of that other video. That's where I started getting a better idea of what really happened, and it didn't take long to start putting things together. In the comment section of my first Opryland video, two names kept appearing: E.W. Bud Wendell and Terry London. Let's start with Bud Wendell. Bud Wendell might have been the heart and soul of everything that was loved about the Grand Ole Opry and Opryland. Wendell became the manager of the Grand Ole Opry in 1968. In 1974, he was the vice president of WSM and the general manager of both Opry and Opryland Theme Park. 1974 is a pivotal year to remember because it's the year I was born. Anyway, by 1978, Wendell was the president and CEO of WSM, and by 1980, he was its chairman. In 1983, Gaylord Entertainment took over. Bud became the president and CEO of Gaylord Entertainment in 1991. Under Wendell's leadership, Gaylord Entertainment achieved remarkable accomplishments. They launched the Nashville Network in 1983, acquired Country Music Television in 1991, and even expanded CMT's reach into Europe, Latin America, and Asia, if you can believe that. Wendell also oversaw the expansion of the Opryland Hotel, turning it into Nashville's largest convention facility. Additionally, he established the Opryland Music Group. Wendell played a significant role in the renovation of the historic Ryman Auditorium, which breathed life back into downtown Nashville. Beginning in the 1970s through the 1990s, Wendell played a major role in the growth of country music. Bud Wendell's investments are still paying dividends to this day. Bud was Mr. Opryland. He was a team player and believed in the brand. He's a legend. If you love the Grand Ole Opry, the Opryland Hotel, and yes, Opryland, then Bud Wendell is the hero of this story. But any story where there is a hero, there's a villain. Terry London is the villain for this story, but he's not a typical villain. He replaced Bud Wendell and proceeded to run Gaylord Entertainment into the ground. He wasn't a bad guy, he just made bad decisions. And some of his decisions weren't really bad, they were just poorly timed. And he didn't understand the power of branding. Now at first the money was rolling in, because Terry London wasn't just cashing in on Opryland. Gaylord Entertainment was selling off all kinds of assets, and they were investing into, well, the worst possible thing to invest in at the time. Terry London and Gaylord Entertainment fell for the dot-com boom of the late 1990s. Specifically, London wanted to corner the market for Christian music online, which wasn't a terrible idea, but he didn't really understand what was happening with the internet at the time. London was reinventing Gaylord Entertainment's business model and strategy, and it was a disaster. It should be noted that many financial analysts at the time didn't fault London for closing Opryland. Some analysts even argued that it was the best decision he made. But at the very least, the decision to close Opryland was enigmatic of London's overall strategy. When it comes to the truth about the decision to close Opryland, Bud Wendell said it best. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen, and the people that were responsible for it, I would think they would look back on it and say, yeah, it was a dumb decision. But they felt they could get a greater return on that piece of acreage out there if it were a mall as opposed to a theme park, America's only musical theme park. And that's the real truth about Opryland. Saying that Terry London fell for a bubble in the stock market is an oversimplification of what really happened. After all, London wasn't just throwing money at the internet. He was throwing money at a lot of bad ideas, including movie projects in Hollywood that proved to be failures. There are even rumors that London was caught up in the glamour of the movie industry, but I don't know if that's true. But it is true that Gaylord Entertainment lost a lot of money in a short amount of time with very little to show for it. Bud Wendell was Opryland's hero and advocate, but by the mid-1990s, Opryland needed more than an advocate and a different kind of hero. Opryland needed a visionary, like this guy. Poor Walt is suffering through this dreadful period of historical revisionism. But when it comes to theme parks, Walt Disney was the GOAT, or the greatest of all time. He was a visionary and understood the power of an established brand. You know, come to think of it, these days, Disney could use a Walt Disney. And like the current executives at Disney, Terry London and Gaylord Entertainment didn't know the value of what they already had. They didn't know the true value of their brand. Under Terry London's leadership, Gaylord Entertainment's stock dropped 10%. Sound familiar, Disney? Is nostalgia the only reason we're still talking about Opryland's closure 26 years after the park closed? Well, I would have never made that first Opryland video if not for feeling at least a little nostalgic. My grandfather loved the Grand Ole Opry, so from all over the country, our family met at least a couple of times, met at Opryland. So yes, nostalgia. But when it comes to why Opryland closed, that's a different story. It's a different story because we're living in a time when a lot of people don't feel like they get the whole story about anything. We're not as trusting as we were, let's say, 20 years ago. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a political channel, but you gotta admit, it's hard to imagine that time long ago when we actually placed our full trust in the media or the government. When Gaylord Entertainment provided their reasons for closing Opryland, the public, though shocked, went along with it. We were accustomed to trusting what we were told by the captains of industry. I've left a link in the description to the best article I've read about Opryland's closure by Laura Brown. I think Laura does the best job at capturing the insanity of the decision. For nostalgia, there are plenty of Opryland videos that will show you what the park looked like and take you down memory lane. I've left links to those videos in the comments. When it comes to production value, a lot of these videos are so much better than my old Opryland video and even this video. But for me, it's not just nostalgia. Like many of you, I've come to realize that servants of the government or captains of industry aren't characters in a movie. They're real people that make huge mistakes. Dumb mistakes. They're people just like you and me. Despite the fact that I worked really hard on that first Opryland video, I made some mistakes, and I'm sure I've made some mistakes in this video, or for the sake of time, I've oversimplified or left out a lot. And you're welcome to comment on any of my mistakes in the comment section. In fact, please leave a comment as it helps our channel. At least Gaylord later admitted that they didn't do their homework and that closing Opryland was a mistake. And that's a lot more than I can say for these clowns. I want to thank my subscribers for inspiring me to make this video. I'm convinced we have some of the best subscribers on the platform. They're great people who I've enjoyed getting to know over the past several years. I hope you'll join our growing community and subscribe and click the bell for notifications. Now that Carolyn and I are settled back in Southeast Tennessee, we're going to try to get our live stream going again so we can interact. I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to watch this long video, and I hope you'll take just a little more time to leave a comment. My name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life.